Okay, hi guys. There isn't a single day that goes by where we don't, as individuals, listen to music. It's all around us, and most of the time we don't notice it, but then there are times when we just do. How many of you have heard of ska music? Awesome, there's some people who do. Well, today I'm going to be telling you about the history of third wave ska, popular ska bands of today, and what you do at a ska concert. First, let me give you the definition of ska. Dictionary.com defines ska as a modern style of vocalized Jamaican popular music which emerged in the 1950s as a blend of African folk, Jamaican folk music, calypso, and the American rhythm and blues, noticeable for its shuffling, scratch-like tempos, and jazz-like horn riffs on the offbeat. So I'm going to be talking about third wave ska. Third wave ska is the third and final part in the journey of the history of ska. There are three parts to it. There's first wave, two-tone ska, and then third wave ska, which I'm talking about. Third wave ska came to be in the late 80s when certain members of the American punk underground began returning to the sound of the British ska revival and combining it with their hardcore punk. Many of the popular third wave ska bands came from California. AllMusic.com says, eventually the third wave ska revivalists broke into the American mainstream thanks to the success of fellow California punk revivalists Green Day and Offspring. The first big third wave ska band is Rancid. These lovely fellows. Yes, I like their hair. They're Rancid, and they were quickly followed by groups such as No Doubt, Goldfinger, Sublime, and Dancehall Crashers. These bands all became in the late 80s. That's Sublime, that's Dancehall Crashers, that's No Doubt, and that's Goldfinger. I like that one best. During 1996 is when third wave ska became one of the most popular forms of alternative music in the United States. Orange County had the biggest influence on the third wave ska scene. Orange County was the starting point of many successful third wave ska bands. A lot of these bands had a great deal of commercial success, but it was short-lived. Two bands that had these short-lived careers were the Hippos and Save the Ferraris. One of the bands from the 90s that still plays today is the Aquabats. They're a fantastic band. You should listen to them. And then another band that still plays around today is Real Big Fish, who is an also amazing ska band. I'll talk about more Real Big Fish more later because they're my favorite, and I'll go into detail about them. Well, now I'm going to leave you with a quote from Victoria Large's article, Waiting for Another Wave. For now, ska music has mostly been sidelined by pop music, but pop music never stops changing and it never stops recycling itself. After all, few expected that we would once again hear so many of the synthesizers on modern rock radios 5 years ago. It's likely only a matter of time before ska resurfaces in the mainstream. Basically, she's saying ska should come back, and it will eventually. Now that I told you some of the history, I'm going to introduce you to some of the popular ska bands of today. Some of the popular ska bands of today that are my personal favorite are Real Big Fish, Streetlight Manifesto, Big D and the Kids Tables, the Aquabat, and Sublime with Rome. Each of these ska bands has a different sound to them, and that's the beauty of ska, because one ska band sounds one way while another sounds completely different. First, I'm going to talk about Streetlight Manifesto, which is these guys. And I'm going to play you a clip of what they sound like. Their sound is more of the upbeat, kind of rough, rugged kind of sound, which is really awesome. And they're going to be in concert at Fox Theater in December. If you want to go see them, you should go. I've seen them like 3 times. Every time they're awesome. The second ska band I'm going to talk about is Big D and the Kids Table, and I'm going to play a clip of them. Big D and the Kids Table is more of the way of, which is these guys. They are more of punk ska, if you could hear the punk, the fast beat to it. They're a really good ska band too. I saw them in concert last Thursday. They're a fun band to listen to and to watch form. The next band I'm going to talk about is Sublime with Rome. Because I have to use Sublime with Rome because the original singer of Sublime died. And so these guys are pretty awesome. I'm going to play a clip of them. So they've got kind of a punkish sound to them too, but when I listen to them, they have the more ska, with more reggae emphasis to it, which is really awesome. The third band is, alright, the next band is the Aquabats, and these guys are characters. They dress up as superheroes at all their concerts. Pretty fun guys. I'm going to play you a little bit of them. These guys are very unique. I've never heard a ska band like them, and I love them. Next is Real Big Fish, which is they're a typical ska band. Fast beat, just the most traditional sounding. So I told you about some different ska bands. I'm going to tell you what to do at a ska concert. What you do at a ska concert is skank. Does anybody know how to skank? Good, some of you know how to do it. Couldn't find any good YouTube videos, so I'm going to show you all how to skank because it's just easier that way. So skanking is the Running Man, but you switch your arms. But it's a little more complicated than that because according to the beat is how fast you want to go, but basically it's like this. And you just do that in a circle, your smaller steps, the faster you go, and that's what you do at a ska concert. And it's so much fun because you get so many different people running around in a circle with you. It's a carefree environment. And I hope you'll learn something new about ska today, and you all should go out and buy ska and skank around and have fun doing it.
Oh yeah.
So Alex, tell us what you thought.
All right, I thought she had a clear thesis and a good preview. She did good at explaining.
This is all being recorded and it's going on her video, and she would like to hear the comments from the speaker, not your comments about your trip to school this morning. Thank you.
She did a good job at explaining the pictures, and she also did good at explaining the different how they all differentiate from each other. And it was a really fun and entertaining speech to watch and informative, but also kind of persuasive. So that's maybe the only bad part, but overall it was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the speech is very good-natured. You're having fun. This is a good example of what I'm talking about when I say you really want to pay attention to the relational dimension of the message. It's about how you want to come across to the audience, how you want the audience to relate to the subject. She's got a relaxed attitude. She's enjoying the subject. She wants you to be a part of it, and I think that comes across very effectively. I like